Okay, hello, it's James, and I'm here with Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
We are here to talk Dark Phoenix spoilers since the WizKids marketing machine has slowly cranked back into life, and I thought we could take the opportunity to show you our complete and total comprehensive Dark Phoenix spoilers page, which I've added a few features to. So here we are with a nice image, and the first thing I've added is the latest update now appears just under the intro text. And if you want to see the complete update log, because I'm a bit obsessive with these things, you can click on that and you can see where everything came from with links. And the arrow takes you back to the top. Next, we have this came out just a few days ago. The latest from Solicits. Apparently, Dice Masters is now slated for November of this year. Dark Phoenix is slated for November of this year, so we will see. Beneath that, you've got complete character and basic action lists, or rather, almost complete. You can speculate about what's missing. There is only one character missing, in fact, which is somewhere between Deathbird and Forge. So I'm guessing Emma Frost, but I suppose it could be something else. And the red numbers indicate super rares. We're guessing that there should be 16 in total, and I think so far we have 7. So you can have a guess about what other 9 characters there may be. And if you click on one of these words, it will take you to the relevant spoilers. So there's the first one. In fact, we're going to talk about this Phoenix, but I have prepared, to avoid distraction from Professor X, I have prepared an actual slideshow. So there we go. There it is in all its glory. It's Phoenix Psionic Maelstrom, 6-cost Bolt, spoiled by the Ministry of Dice, as you can see. It has the X-Men affiliation, and the text says, when Phoenix attacks, deal 3 damage to target character die. If that character die is a villain character die, you may deal 3 damage to another target character die. Ben, over to you. What do you reckon?
I think this is a good card. I think it would have been better a few years ago when we had all those villains at 3-cost defense that needed to got rid of.
Such
Expensive
as,
stats. Yeah, Streak, and I think there's one more.
yeah.
Scarlet Witch would be nice because they're all 3 max defense. But I think she's okay. She's a good removal tool. When attacks is always a nice timing window
Mm-hmm.
for removal. I just think why play her when you're going to have the rare Spider-Man as a
Yeah,
when attacks removal. But,
indeed.
it's an option to do some damage.
Bit pricey for me. That's all I ever seem to say is it's 6 cost. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it.
And Drafter could be good, though.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, the next one, spoiled also by the Ministry of Dice, was Magik, Wielder of the Soul Sword. She's a 3-cost mask with the X-Men affiliation, and when fielded, the next action die you purchase costs 1 less to a minimum of 1. Run-of-the-mill ability. Stats are alright, though. She's got a big bum.
Yeah, we like. I think I like this one. The Elf Wizard had a similar ability ages ago, but this is a nice stat wise. I like the flipping ability. Being able to use like the Bizarro Global to stat flip her a little bit, and maybe just to attack with her. Buy some cheaper actions. Lots of good actions to buy. The Power Almighty comes to mind as a bit expensive. Maybe it makes it a bit cheaper. So I like it overall. Think it's a good defensive option as well to counteract some Becky Overcrush stuff, maybe.
Indeed, yeah. There is another character from wrestling with similar stats and perhaps a generally better ability, and he's got a funny picture, so I included him in the slideshow. I don't really know who he is, but he looks amusing. Okay, moving on. So to the second batch of spoilers, which were again from the Ministry of Dice, from their 100th episode thingy majig. First of those was Cable, Bosom Buddy. Oh, I can't do it, can I? Bosom Buddies.
Bosom buddies.
Is that what it is? It's. I'm sorry. I come from the north of England, and I hypercorrect with that particular vowel sound. Anyway, he's a 4-cost Bolt, again with the X-Men affiliation, and his text reads, while Cable is active, your Deadpool costs 1 less to purchase to a minimum of 1 and has +2 attack. And he's got his normal Cable stats, which are a bit rough for fielding, but alright. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I think mentioning those cable stats has always been kind of a problem in the past because he's always been like a when fielded or when attacks or some kind of you want to
Hmm.
cycle him ability. This one kind of sits in the field. How impactful it will be meta wise, I'm not sure, but +2 to Deadpool could be cool. You could also copy this with Hope, probably a better target for that later on.
Hmm.
But give you a Deadpool +4 attack is interesting. And make
And
it
the
two
Deadpool
less to
would be,
purchase, I suppose.
and the
I
best Deadpool would be Wear X Force probably.
Yeah.
When Deadpool is blocked, he gains +3 attack and Overcrush. Again, ripe for a stat flip. And he's also getting a buff from Cable, so that's
Yeah,
pretty
and the
good for him.
cable is a static buff, so it's always there even if you flip the stats. So it's not like you
Hmm.
lose the attack buff. You'll always gain, you always have the buff no matter if you flip the stats or not on the
Yep.
attack, which is really useful. Could be interesting. And there are other Deadpools in this set coming up, so we'll have to see where this lands.
And that's not bad. He's a 4 cost fist, but that would be 3 with the discount, which is pretty good. And he's got really good fielding costs, so I like that. And
Yeah,
and a useful global for his own abilities. So jolly good. Let's move on to the next spoiler, which was I can't remember. Aha, Lilandra. I think I've tried to block this out of my mind. It says she's a 5 cost shield with the Shiar. Is that what it is? That affiliation. While Lilandra is active, your opponent must pay 2 life to use an action die or global ability. And this is basically a reprint of Jinzo Trap Destroyer, the rare from Yu-Gi-Oh. Basically, he had the same ability but slightly better stats. What do you reckon, Ben?
much better looking card than the Jinzo card. I'll give it that. Um,
I quite like the text behind. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be nice in foil, I imagine. That Jinzo card just is really. I mean, why is he in front of an office block? But anyway, um, much better. Not much better, but one better purchase cost as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and this is going to be pretty impactful. Not quite the same stats as Jinzo, but yeah, still really good. And
Easier
will
to
be a
get to.
problem.
Yeah.
Will be a
Uh,
problem.
I look forward to that. Okay. Let's move on swiftly from that. The next one is Sabretooth. You ready to party? I'm sure he doesn't speak like that. He's a 5 cost fist with the Brotherhood of Mutants affiliation. No longer evil, I think. When Sabretooth attacks, well, they probably are, but not in the name, your Brotherhood character dice get +2 attack, and he has the Team Watch keyword, which we'll explain in just a second. Target character die can't block this turn. And I guess I'll take the opportunity to explain that Team Watch means that when you field the relevant character, in this case a Brotherhood affiliated character, you get to use the Team Watch ability, which stops one of your opponent's dice from blocking. So that could be pretty useful. Ben, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. It's almost like a personalized bard. I think they said on the Ministry of Dice podcast, and they're talking about this bard for Brotherhood, with the added ability that you get to, change some blockers around, stop some blockers. So really nasty. Will of course depend on how good Brotherhood are in their other cards, but I think as we'll come to, one of them at least is pretty interesting, and yeah, this is potential for a control build and potential for a really impactful meta card.
Control it, and it's like relentless, isn't it? Relentless on legs.
Yep.
That team watch ability, and we do have, skipping through the team watch definition, we do have some cheap, because this relies on. Okay, he's got the buff ability, which relies on nothing, but the team watch preventing blocking ability relies on fielding some Brotherhood characters, and we've got some cheap ones with fine fielding costs. There was Dark Beast and also
Yep.
Mastermind.
Yeah, I think the Dark Beast would be good with the 4/4/5 attack with Sabretooth around. It's pretty good for a 2 cost.
Nice. And then we've actually got, they're the cheapest ones I found. Then we've actually got some ones with really rather good abilities like Mystique. Yeah, that's a strong one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, with just Mystique out and Sabretooth out, no other lead Brotherhood characters, she's going to get +4/+2. So, yeah, not bad at all.
Blimey. Blimey. And there's another Mystique, which also has Team Watch, and that means that when you field another Brotherhood character and this super rare Mystique is out, you can spin a target opposing character die to an energy face of your opponent's choice, but they still lose their character. So if you had this and Sabretooth and fielded any Brotherhood character, you would get to spin one die down and prevent another one from blocking.
Yeah, frightening.
Yes. And another one that you could have is the super rare Magneto, who is basically, what's it called? Vigilante Justice on legs, I think. He says while Magneto is active, when one of your Brotherhood character dice is KO'd, KO target opposing character die. So that is doubly useful. So if you bring the Blue Eyes Global, which is on Dark Phoenix, I think, in set, you can KO one of your Brotherhood character dice, get the benefit of Magneto's ability. Obviously you've got to pay for him and field him because he costs 6, but this is the sort of 6 cost I might be interested in for the long game. And you can also take out their characters and then perhaps refield your Brotherhood character and take advantage of either Mystique or Sabretooth's ability the next turn.
Yeah, I think the great thing about that Dark Phoenix combo is the Mystique's a 3 cost and the Sabretooth's a 5 cost, and the kind of odd numbers fit really well into the Blue Eyes buying pattern because it reduces by 2, so you're always getting that like extra little bit. So you could KO one character and then buy Mystique for 1, and you're kind of making the most out of that global.
There's going to be some proper strong shenanigans going on there, I reckon.
It'll be really interesting because you can set all this up in draft as well. I mean, guaranteed it needs a super rare and a rare, so not. Or maybe 2 super rares. So is this super rare as well?
This is super rare, although you can't really see, and Mystique too.
Okay, so not in draft, but still.
The next one? Oh no, we had also Spider-Man was another suggestion for this Brotherhood team.
Oh, this was the Sabretooth as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that make him? A 5, 6, 7 for a 3 cost.
Good lord. Because Spider-Man gains every affiliation of every card on your team, and so the Sabretooth is going to be giving him a buff, and he's already got great stats for a 3 cost, so scary stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, next one was Storm. Ooh, I'm scared to read the
Speaking
text.
of scary stuff, yeah.
Yeah. It's a 7 cost bolt with the X-Men affiliation. She's a rare, and it says, when fielded, reroll target character die. When Storm attacks, reroll up to 2 opposing character dice. Move each die that does not roll a character goes to... okay, there's something wrong there, but move each character die that does not roll a character to your opponent's used pile. Storm deals 2 damage to your opponent for each die moved. So, and she's also got energy eyes, sorry. Blimey. So on her double energy faces, she's going to re-roll a target opposing character die. Ugh, that's a lot of removal in one package. It is expensive. She combines half of Wind Rider's ability from AVX and a little bit of Goddess of the Plains ability, but adds to that the damage from Wind Rider. So let's just skip back a second to Storm. Ben, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable removal. Will people be reaching the 7 costs for it? Maybe not with those stats. I mean, it doesn't win you the game, but it could certainly do a lot of damage to your opponent's field. Definitely something people are going to be messing around with, and there's quite an obvious combo, which I think people already started talking about, which is the Hope Summers, which basically lets you copy an X-Men. So instead of spending 7, and you don't have to have that X-Men out, do you?
God, no.
The 7 cost Storm, this now is a 3 cost, and you haven't really lost that much in stats or anything. Her abilities are still useful, so pretty disgusting. I suppose you lose the Energize, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Unless you had a second one out.
But and you also lose the cool name from the Hope Rachel, which was Hopel. We now have either Horm or Stope, which doesn't have much of a ring to it.
Just as a team name, we could call it the Summer Storm team.
Oh, nice. Very rainy. I like a bit of rain. Okay, that covers all of the existing spoilers that have been done recently. But we've got a special treat for you. We've actually very kindly been given by Jimmy from WizKids a few of our own spoilers to spoil. And we thought we'd do a couple of Shield spoilers today because that links in with the podcast that we've done recently. I'll obviously put the link in the description. So drum roll, please. The first one is Blob, MGH dependent, who's a 4-cost shield, again with the Brotherhood affiliation. And he's, when fielded, lose 1 life, and he has the Intimidate keyword, which means that when he's fielded, you get to choose to move one of your opponent's characters out of their field zone until the end of the turn. Ben, what do we reckon about that?
Not brilliant, but potential for stat flipping, and Intimidate on a 4-cost is about average, I suppose. So,
yeah, Intimidate always seems to come with some sort of downside. In this case, losing a life is not the biggest deal, maybe, but there are probably better Intimidate characters with even less of a downside. So we've got Gazer for 2, who basically does the same job as long as the target die doesn't have any experience, which is in constructed, unlimited constructed, not very likely that they will. But as Ben says, there's always the Bizarro Global. We mentioned it for Magik earlier. You can pay a shield to switch a character die's attack and defense until end of turn, and Blob, if nothing else, has a great big butt. Okay, so Blob, not bad. We have one more. Drum roll. It is Bishop, the rare Bishop, Time Traveller, a 3-cost shield with the X-Men affiliation, and his text reads, if you only use energy from Bishop dice to purchase a character die, prep that die instead of adding it to your used pile. Ben, tell us about that.
yeah, no, I really like this card. I'm pretty excited to try and mess around with it. Whether it will be just the messing around card or actually meta-relevant, I suppose is up for debate, but this is obviously a reprint, sort of a card ability that we've seen quite a lot of, specifically a global ability we've seen quite a lot of, which is the old chalkboard global, now known as the Becky Lynch global, I suppose.
Indeed.
But it's private and only you can use it, which is nice. So it will be interesting to see how people mess around with this. I'm excited to try and add this to my Shield team and see how far it takes me.
I got really excited until I realised that you have to use exclusively his energy to pay for stuff. So at first I thought that meant you were limited to sort of things, cheap stuff like Gazer that we've already mentioned, or Atlantis, which is pretty good. And you've got your own, as Ben says, your own sort of personal prep thing, without having to give the advantage of the global of Becky's global, for example, to your opponent. But then Ben pointed out that this card exists, and if you have 2 fists, you can pay that before you buy the character, so it's not part of the purchase cost of the character. And then, having paid those 2 fists, the character costs 3 less, which brings you in range. If you have 2 energy from Bishop's double energy side, then you can buy a 5-cost shield and prep it immediately. Can you think of any useful 5-cost shields, Ben, that you might want to prep immediately?
Well, I suppose unfortunately you don't want the Becky, because then you're kind of doing double duty and giving your opponent the global. But there is another 5-cost which arguably, I don't know, is just as good as Becky in certain situations, which is the Pip the Troll rare.
He says, when fielded, spin up to 2 opposing character dice to energy faces of your choice.
Yeah, so being able to prep this pretty early on. I mean, if you can, get the Bishop and prep it so you have it for turn 3. It's not Pip the Troll turn 4 into your prep area or rolled from your prep area is not bad then.
Nice. And one more, which is very close to your heart, is
the Super Giant. Yeah, I'm a fan of this card. I think this is an interesting one to mess around with. But one of the things the Super Giant team kind of needs is a Super Giant captures your opponent's stuff basically and takes control of it. But what you need is kind of a field to then be able to swing into that open field. And then Bishop also kind of gives you that, because on top face it's a 5/6, which is no laughing matter for a 3-cost.
Yeah, let's flip back to Bishop to finish with, because he's quite a big boy, right? Yeah, he's got 2/5, 3/6, and 5/6, and again the stat flips are a thing. So yeah, solid stuff. Okay, Ben, thank you very much, and everybody, thank you very much for watching. We hope you found that interesting and useful. I will put these card images, the new spoilers, onto the the website that I showed you earlier. And obviously, I'll put the links in the description. Don't forget to check out the podcast, which was all about shields and where these cards were first spoiled. And watch this space. Please do subscribe and click the notification bell, and you might find some more exciting things coming soon. Okay, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.